Well. We're back a week after we were last here. We're here again. Who would have thought?
That's right. We're not taking another 3-week break. Not yet.
Not yet. We'll wait another week and then we can do that.
Yeah.
Now, you may notice folks here that Noah has a full 6 wall panels. Oh man. We're back up to full steam.
That's right. Beginning of the episode, we gotta start from scratch.
Oh no, they're saying that for every minute late, we have to remove a wall panel.
I
This
don't
is
think that's
terrible.
necessary. They're gonna remove themselves.
Yeah, I don't know. You say that as if it's a punishment and not an eventuality.
Right.
That's the trick. Now, today we got an interesting topic. You may have noticed from the title of the video that oh no, I'm looking on my other monitor here and it's not showing up. Hang on a minute. I forget what I called this. What's the title, Noah?
The title is I tried Apple self-repair.
Sure did. And my guy, it is weird. It is really weird.
I did hear about it. I did hear about the industrial crates that they ship you. Um
Pelican cases, yeah.
But obviously, I have not tried it myself, so I'm very curious about your experience that we'll talk about today.
Yeah, and we'll definitely give you guys a little bit of a sneak peek. So you might have seen on Twitter or Instagram or I don't know, somewhere. Sam from iUpdate came over here and we have spent the last 48 hours pretty much nonstop working on this video. We each have one coming out tomorrow. And oh my god, dude. Dude, it's so weird. It's so weird. It's legit like it makes no sense.
Yeah, it seemed I don't want to get into it too much because we're going to talk about it obviously, but every like
Yeah.
from the little that I saw and there's like that separate website that kind of looks like an Apple website, but it kind of looks fake where you like buy or like rent the kits. Like that was really
Yeah.
weird. And then
It's
like
so
I
sus
don't know.
looking.
There's so much that's
Ugh.
like I didn't even know it happened, by the way. Like I saw it on Twitter, whenever it was, a couple days ago, a week ago, or whatever, and I didn't even know. I was like, "Oh, when are they going to launch this thing?" And then I saw like, "Oh, apparently they did already," and they just,
Yeah.
never told anyone.
They just basically didn't tell anyone that they did it. And so as far as I know, tomorrow morning when these videos go live, we should be the first to have actual hands-on with it. I mean, I know Sam posted an unboxing of the tools that you can rent,
Hmm.
and it is weird. I will tell you, my guy, it's 70 pounds that they send you in the mail.
Yeah.
I actually have them. Wait here. Actually, I'll do this on the show. Don't wait. Unwait. Remove. Go as you were.
Okay. Okay.
But yeah, no. We can talk about. I want to try to not give away too much about our videos, um, because I mean, obviously, in like 12 hours, you're gonna get to just see them. And I have no idea if this video is gonna perform well at all. No clue. It could be a total flop. It could, get a bunch of views. I have no idea. Sometimes, usually when I post videos, I have like some idea of like, okay, this is a video that's going to appeal to people. Like the studio display, the DIY, which we can talk about, which I'm actually using here now as well.
Nice.
So we'll definitely talk about those things. But I think while we're waiting these 4 minutes here, I want to get some guesses. Maybe we can get a poll up for the
All
wall
right.
panels.
Oh yes. I'm gonna need maybe a minute or two to get that going.
No worries.
Okay, getting it.
Do,
Set
do,
up
do, do,
here.
do, 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 do. Yeah, I just wanted to fill the time there. I realized we were both kind of doing our little things here. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Also, I just realized that my shirt here is clashing with the paisley. Look at that. That's not good. Oh dear. I'll just have to
Well,
cover it with the mic there.
you could just take one of the two off.
There we go. I would never do that. I would never jeopardize the integrity of the shirt. And I think you know that.
Fair enough.
All right, once we get the poll, we can just start a few minutes early. I have a feeling the show might run a little long anyway.
1 sec. I realized that the dark mode server, I never set up the server properly, so I restarted the server machine sometime between the last episode and this episode. So I have to
Oh, no.
manually start the dark mode server again, which I'm doing right now.
Dark mode is down right now. This is really sad.
Yeah, hopefully
I'll
we
pull
can
up our
bring it
tabs
back up here.
I can't
Know
believe they got
what's going on.
selfservicerepair.com. How much do you think they paid for that domain name?
That's a good question. And who did they get it from?
Probably a pretty
'Cause
penny.
someone must have had it before, right?
You have to imagine. There's no way that was just like hanging out, unclaimed domain. Not a chance.
Yeah.
Is there a wait a minute. Okay. I have an idea. Look at this. We've got lots of things going on here. Okay. I was fixing the server. I'm doing some important research. Oh no. This is not what I wanted. I'm not finding what I wanted here. That is oh, hang on. No, wait, it's May 1st right now. I'm silly. Damn, that's rough. I had a good idea, which was, oh, look, let me check on archive.org and see if there's any archived versions of that domain name from before Apple's announcement, but there's not.
I actually found something interesting. It's selfservicerepair.com, right?
Yes.
I gotta double check.
Wait, whatever you
this.
found that's interesting, let's save it for the podcast.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say anything yet, but I gotta double check this.
Okay, all right. Look at that. We're doing live research right here, folks.
The heck? Yeah, this is interesting. It's kind of weird.
All right, you ready to get started, Noah?
Yeah. So this server will not start. We might have to skip on the poll this week, and I'll fix it for next week.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's just hop into it.
All right, give me 1 sec for the recording. And okay, I'm good.
No. Okay, never mind. We're good. Welcome to Dark Mode, the podcast that brings you sage technology advice from two technology experts. And that's not just what we call ourselves. It's what our moms tell people when they turn an iMac into a studio display, which our moms do quite often. I'm your host, Luke Miani.
And I'm your host, Noah Rubin. On this show, we take questions from listeners, attempt to answer them to varying degrees of success, and maybe even have a laugh or two along the way.
And today, I'll tell you what, we won't have a laugh when we're looking at the poll because there's no poll to look at. We tried,
right.
We failed, but what we do have to start out with here is some acknowledgement of the elephant in the room. I'm talking, of course, about Noah's wall panels, of which there are currently 6.
Mm-hmm. That's right. There's always you always got to start with 6, and we got to see where we end. I will tell you, I have not touched any of the tape. I haven't switched out any of the tape since last week.
That's
Um,
significant.
and so, I mean, given that all 6 fell last week, and it's the same tape. I mean, I pressed them in there. I did a good job.
Mm.
I used, some good force there, but it is the same tape, so we could see all 6 again. I don't know.
That is very exciting. We could be in for a full 6 show tonight, so that would be, I think, really historic to have those 2 in a row. And I dare say, if we do end up in yet another 6 show, then I think for the sake of wanting to keep the specialness of that occasion, perhaps it would be wise to reapply some of the tape. You know what I mean? Because if it's 6 every
Yes.
show, doesn't that sort of spoil the game a little bit?
No, I agree. It's just a very time-consuming process to
Okay,
reapply
that's
the
true.
tape, and I keep forgetting to do it. So I will do it. I will do it.
Dude, the thing that I don't get is they're not heavy. They're really not.
Yeah, they're not.
And it's not like it's on a ceiling, right? Because like if you're talking about the forces here, and I apologize because I'm not a math person, so this is gonna sound really dumb. But if you're hanging something from a ceiling, you have vertical force, right? Theoretically, this should be shearing force, right? Because it's on a wall. So the weight is parallel to the plane that it's shearing from. So I don't see how, like, if it's dropping straight down, it seems like that would be easier for it to fall off, but it's sideways.
Yeah, I don't know. See, my theory, I do agree with you, but the theory that I want to test, because I haven't been paying attention, but this week we'll pay attention, is
Mm,
if the bottom panels fall down before the top panels, maybe the top panel is like putting some amount of weight, which it doesn't look like it because you can see there are like little gaps. Like I can stick my fingernail through
interesting,
this gap
interesting.
here. But maybe if the top ones slip down a little bit and they start putting some extra weight on the bottom ones, maybe the bottom ones will fall down first. So that's something that we could look out for today.
Now that's interesting. I had thought of it sort of the other way because my recollection was that in at least some of the situations we've had the top ones fall first, which in my mind would weaken the bottom ones because the top one, when falling, is going to exert some force on the panel below it, you would imagine. Although, wait,
Yeah.
am I correct in saying that the wall panel behind your head has fallen the least often?
I'm trying to think. Always hits me in the head,
But it's
and
only hit you in the head like once or
twice. I think.
twice.
I think 2 times it's hit me in the head. So you know what? I think you might be right.
So what is it about that wall panel that seems to be more robust?
It's a good question. And the other thing I'll say, and we can get into the actual tech talk in a moment here,
Yes.
but the last thing I'll say in this segment is that I don't always put the wall panels in the exact place, the same place every time. I usually,
Mm.
usually roughly the same place because they fall on the ground and I pick them up off the ground and put them. But sometimes I'll pick up a different one. So like this wall panel, whichever one is right here, it might be the same one that was there last
Mm.
time. It might be a different one. So I don't know if it's the
So
panel
perhaps
position.
the
We don't know.
location,
It
perhaps the
could be.
wall is more adherent.
Yes, or less
Mm.
slippery, I guess you could say. I don't know.
Interesting.
It's an an
Or maybe
interesting
it's just more
question.
supported because it has 3 sides surrounded.
That is
It
also
has support
true.
from below and from the side.
I feel
This is
like we
very
should
interesting.
I feel like we should keep track. And we have the recordings of the old episodes. If we if we could figure out, the timestamp of when each wall panel falls in each episode and sort of graph that out, plot that out, maybe we could make some sort of like discovery, some like scientific discovery
Mm.
about the wall or the panels or the setup in general. And I think that
Yeah.
could contribute to the field greatly. So we could
I
look
think so
into that.
too. You know what else we should look into is this
What's that?
segue into a more relevant topic.
Mm-hmm. Yes, let's do that.
So I think let's start by talking about the 5K iMac because I think that's a very interesting topic. And in fact, uh, I can actually show you guys because right now I'm using the subject of my most recent video, and that is my late 2014 5K iMac, which I converted into a studio display. So right now I've got them side by side, a real studio display and a fake one. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I might be able to. Oh, I haven't plugged it in. Dang it. Hang on a second. Hang on. Hang on.
Oh, maybe we'll get a little camera switching action here. That would be pretty cool. I hear Luke wrangling some cables back there.
I'm back.
All right.
No! Where is it? Oh, man. Oh, this is really so tragic. I'm not able to connect to show advanced options. Okay. Nope, it's not working. Ah, beans. Well, I don't know. That's a strange one, but unfortunately, I am not able to pull up the webcam that I installed in my studio display fake edition. Now, I have to derail myself for a moment here because we've got front page tech here. We got John in the chat who is using the studio display that I sent to him but a week
Mac
ago.
Studio
That's the one. That's what I meant. What did I say?
Studio Display.
Whatever. It's all the same. But yeah, so I saw some people asking, and yeah, the 48 core Mac Studio is back up and running, ladies and gentlemen, and it is currently running. I mean, at least well enough for John to type in our YouTube chat. So that's good to hear. The Apple Store was, I don't know what they did. They said they just took it apart and put it back together again, but I don't know if I buy that.
We'll never know.
We never will know. But I'll tell you what we will know is me getting back on topic. Do you like that?
Yes, I feel like we're gonna reach saturation on the segue jokes
Not
on this
possible.
episode.
Not possible. But we can reach saturation settings on my studio display because one of the features that I made sure to have was that the buttons to adjust the controls on the panel are accessible. So that means I can make adjustments. And in fact, I think I need to because I adjusted the contrast and I might have messed it up slightly. So that's my bad. But one thing I will say, I ended up using a late 2014 iMac because, yeah, well, it was cheap, frankly. But I wouldn't recommend using that panel because the first version of the 5K panel, and of course, Apple wouldn't advertise this because that would involve admitting that they did something stupid, but it's not. They have this issue with image retention. It sort of looks like OLED burn-in, but it's not permanent. Where, like, if I've been on the same page for a while and I just go ahead and switch over there, it's weird. I can still see, like, I've had YouTube open and I can see like a little ghostly YouTube logo like over top of my Photoshop window. It's very frightening. It's not permanent for what I can tell, but it is noticeable and annoying. Also, there's no P3 color support on that display. So if you do want to use my video to make a studio display, I would recommend getting a 2015 or ideally a 2017 iMac for the donation. That would be ideal.
I got you. And, I'm wondering, because I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't seen that video yet. I was meaning to watch it, but...
Wow, you're a bad friend, huh?
I know. But for the people who might not have watched it, I'm just curious. So you kept is it the same like chassis and everything, and you just put a new board inside of it? Is that right?
Yeah, so basically what you do is gut the old iMac, which is a bit of an involved process, but it's not undoable, right? The only thing that you really have to watch out for is the power supply, which has exposed traces, and that can be a bit of a mess. But
Hmm.
I mean, realistically, look, if you're using an old iMac that has been sitting around for a while, that you've been like, oh man, this thing is kind of slow, it's not really doing a whole lot anymore. If you've had a thing unplugged for like 6 months, then the chances that there's anything left in the power supply capacitors is very low. So I wouldn't worry about it too much. I've taken apart a lot of iMacs, and as long as you're careful, it's fine. I've seen some repair videos where people just like grab the thing by the metal pointy out parts, and I'm like, oh my god, and then they don't die. And I'm like, I don't know. Are you lucky, or is it not that big a deal? I don't know. It's weird though.
Yeah, I remember when we were working on those iMacs in that
Oh
video that we
god.
did a while ago. That was always like and even the iMacinstein. Whenever you open up those
Yeah.
iMacs, those power supplies are they're not fun to deal with.
They're so scary. And the Mac Studio, they did a better job of that because they do have an exposed power supply, but they put shielding on the bottom of it so you can at least pick it up.
Hmm.
Unlike in the iMac, where it's just like big, scary electric warning shock signs and like exposed traces that look very dangerous and are also sharp. Like, even if you don't get electrocuted, they're really sharp.
Yikes.
Definitely don't recommend. But once you get that out of the way, throw it away, get rid of the thing. You've got yourself a really decent situation, right? Because all you have to do is get one of those boards. There's a bunch of them out there. You can find them on AliExpress um, for like some of them are a little less than what I paid, which was like 180. Um, and they run 5K. It's got 4 inputs, so I can do HDMI, I can do dual display port 5K, or single display port 1.2 or 1.4 5K. Um, I even found one on AliExpress that was USB-C
Hmm. That's
that could
nice.
display out over USB-C, just like the real deal. So
Mm.
yeah, it's honestly a really awesome project. And then for the camera, I just got a little Arduino camera off of Amazon, taped it over the hole. Bob's your uncle. There you go.
Yeah, that's like a really cool project. Any of those projects that can like reuse older things, and especially here because it's like it's not just like, oh, here's an old computer, but it still works, so you could like use it for something, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
here's the old computer, turn it into something that's like legitimately like it's a 5K, like it's a great display. It's a 5K display.
Yeah.
It's as good as something that you would buy today. And it's like, here, turn your computer into your old computer that you're not going to use anymore into something that's like still super like modern and that you would actually use with all of your stuff. It's definitely like a really really cool project. So I really
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, it's not even just reuse, right? Because I always maintain that even very old Apple products can still be useful. When you look at stuff like, you can still use an iPhone 6s, or if you can't use it, you can donate it and it can be used. If you have
Mhm.
old unibody MacBook Pros, that's a situation where I could easily make the case, and have many times, that they are still useful. But this iMac is different because it's not just, oh, find a way to keep using something that's old. It's, we're not even going to bother using it as an iMac anymore. It's capable enough, but you can sell those internal components. Don't throw them away, please, for the love of God. Don't throw them away. But this is now, it's not just like, oh, I'm going to just keep using something old. This is just a normal monitor. It is a universally compatible normal monitor. You could plug it into a PC if you wanted to, even running at 5K. And that, I think, is really valuable.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool project for that reason. And also, I was just thinking about that we used to have target display mode on the like
Yes.
old iMacs, and that doesn't exist anymore. But this is, almost even better, right? If you have the old
I
iMac
would
and you
say so.
convert it DisplayPort, HDMI, USB-C, whichever board you buy the board for the thing that you want, and then you have, your new display, and it's permanently a display, and you don't have to worry about booting into target display mode or anything like that. It's just, it's just there for you. So very cool.
Yeah. And you know what? I got a Magic Mouse and a Magic Keyboard for free with the iMac. So it's like a studio display for $1,000 off, and you get the mouse and keyboard, which is another $180 value. So, like, honestly, I mean, okay, right? You don't get to look at the pretty enclosure, and you are missing a couple things, right? Like the mics, you're missing the speakers. A lot of people asked why I didn't reuse the speakers, and that's because they're just speakers, right? They don't have a DAC. They don't have the you can't convert the signal, just like cut the ends off the connector and put it in a USB port. Like that's just not how speakers work, right? So that it isn't quite as simple. Someone would have to do some engineering. But honestly, I would love to see that, because these iMacs are entering the point now where if someone made like a controller board that fit in the standoff screws inside the iMac and allowed you to connect the webcam connector, which also has the microphones and the ambient light sensor, and then also connect the speakers to it and maybe even the power button, because that's just a simple, ground signal completes it's just a simple circuit. So if someone made a board that could do all of those things and then run some ports out, that would be so sick, because then you could have the mics, the cameras, the speakers, and the 5K display. I don't know how to I don't know how to engineer stuff, but if you live in a factory and you know how to do that, get in touch, cuz I think that would be really sick.
If
Hopefully,
you
yeah,
live
look
in
at
a
this.
factory.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. Hopefully the Alibaba sellers are listening. Well, AliExpress. Alibaba, I don't know about that.
That would be very cool. I mean, obviously, if they already have, you're already able to get the display and the camera working. Or I mean, I guess you put a different camera in there, but yeah, like if there were a board that had even more stuff on it, like that would be even cooler. And
It
I
would
don't
be
see why
cool.
it couldn't potentially be done.
And oh, it absolutely could, because the board that I have actually has a little socket for connecting speakers to it, and it has a DAC on it. It has a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. The problem is um, the seller had made their own speakers that connect to the display board, so I couldn't use the iMac speakers. Um, but I mean, it's very well possible. I would really love for someone to try that, because I will absolutely make another video if someone comes up with a way to do this on a more like legit and fully featured way. I think people would absolutely pay $200-300 to convert an iMac into a display, because as these things get older and older, the the Haswell Core i7 is like half the performance of an M1, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse by comparison. But it would be really a shame if you're having all of these millions of 5K panels that are so good that Apple's still selling them, just going to waste.
Yeah, I definitely think it's a great use of, whether you have one lying around or you go out and buy one off of eBay, or you find one at a garage sale, or institutions getting rid of them. Anything that will breathe additional life into existing electronics is great, and it would definitely be a shame for the very nice 5K displays to go to waste. So, awesome project. I really like it.
Speaking of displays and waste and repair, self-service repair just launched this week. How'd you like that, huh?
That was pretty good.
That was
That was
pretty
good.
good.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about this because there's a lot to say. The self-service repair program is super weird, dude. It is legitimately one of the most unusual situations that I've found myself in. And I'm like, what in the heck is going on? So Sam Cole from iUpdate texted me on Tuesday. He was like, "Hey, look, this new self-service repair came out and he just happened to have an iPhone 12 Pro that he's had. It was his main phone before the 13, and it had this very small hairline crack on the front of the display. And so, because of that crack, he was like, well, I don't want to pay the whole money to go get this fixed, but I want to sell it. But then you can't really sell it with the hairline crack. It's going to be worth so much less. So, he had just sort of had it laying around. And then this comes out and it's like, hey, look at that. We can fix up the phone so he can sell it and we can make a video at the same time. That's pretty perfect. So let's take a look here. I'll pull up the good old self-service repair store because my goodness, there's a lot. Now, there's been a couple of videos. Quinn from Snazzy Labs did an excellent breakdown of the website and why everything on this is so weird. But to my knowledge, I don't think anyone has done a video on it. And so tomorrow you'll get two because in Sam's video, basically the concept was, is Apple self-service repair doable for a novice? Sam has never opened up an Apple product before, but he's the one that did the repair. I helped, but it was Sam's repair on Sam's phone. And so I think that'll help answer a lot of questions into like how viable is this for most people to do? And then my video is a review of the experience. As someone who does do a lot of repairs, does this actually make sense? Is there a purpose for Apple self-service repair? Now, Noah, you said that you found some interesting information because we were talking about the domain name selfservicerepair.com that Apple got for this. And you said you came across some interesting info.
Yeah. We were talking in the pre-show, very briefly because we didn't want to spoil the actual episode. But we were talking because I had also seen the self-service repair website, which is like really weird. It's like it like looks a little bit like Apple, but not really. I don't know, whatever. But while we were talking about it in the intro, I thought of the idea to just like look up the Whois records. So for those who aren't familiar, Whois, it's spelled WHOIS, and it's one word. Basically, it's the public record that allows you to see who owns a domain. It tells you where it's registered, when it was registered, when it's going to expire. And then there's some other information which we don't have to get into. And oftentimes it will also tell you who owns the domain. Sometimes it'll tell you their actual name and phone number and email address. And oftentimes, people will use a domain privacy service. So it will be, it'll just show the name of some, domain privacy company. And you could still contact the owner through like a special email address that they generate. But you can't, know exactly who it is. But the interesting thing I found, so I looked up the Whois information. So first of all, it's registered on GoDaddy.com, which I thought was kind of weird.
That is weird. Wait,
so
Apple registered with GoDaddy?
Yeah, and well, that's what it says in the record. And now I'm kind of curious. So Apple.com is registered with CSC Corporate Domains Incorporated, and then under the registrant contact information and the administrator, all the contacts are actually Apple. So it says Apple Inc., 1 Apple Parkway, Cupertino, California, whatever. But this domain is registered through GoDaddy. So I have a theory because I'm 99.999% sure, I'm almost 100% sure that this website was created by some third party. It might be like a subsidiary of Apple, or it might be some like third party company that they contracted. Maybe you know the answer to this, but I don't think it was Apple themselves who made this website.
Yeah, I mean, well, actually, look here at the bottom. It says Spot version 8145.5. It says at the
Yeah, and
bottom
I
of the
saw
website.
because so under the privacy policy, it says SPOT stands for Service Parts or Tools Incorporated, which
Mm.
might be like it might be like Apple spun off this, separate company to do it, or it might be, some third party that they contracted. I'm not 100% sure. I mean, it does have its own logo, which is kind of interesting. And you know what? I'm noticing here that they have a website, servicepartsortools.com, which
Oh.
is a blank website. I'm
Oh.
now I'm
What?
maybe I should have done some research on this beforehand, but this is, if you scroll to the very bottom, there's an email address, something at servicepartsortools.com. And if you go to that website, it's like a gray website with no content on it. And it doesn't even have a certificate. It's an unsecured website. I'm so confused what's going on here.
Dude, what?
Oh, that looks different than what I pulled it up,
Did I
but
put it
equally
in right?
so. Service,
Servicepartsortools.com.
yeah, I mean, it looks
Dude,
different for me, but
what?
that's one of those like parked pages. It's not like there's no website there.
What? This is, dude, this is Apple we're talking about. This is so weird and just strange.
Yeah.
Like, they keep talking about spot, we, us, our, right? And that's so did they set up like a subsidiary, or did they contract this out, or is that like a shell name that they're using so that, because there's no measure, there's no mention of Apple being involved except for over here, learn more about self-service repair. To learn if self-service repair is right for you, please visit the self-service repair page on Apple's website. That's the only time that there's any indication, and it's referring to Apple in like the second person, right? Is that, wait, right? Is that second person or third person? No, second
Uh,
person.
you is second person.
What would be their website? Is that fourth person?
That's third person, I think. I think,
Oh
is third
yeah.
person.
Yeah. So it's referring to Apple in the third person.
And you know what? Here,
Which
so we
is
just got a
weird.
super chat, which I was actually just looking this up. So I looked up Service Parts or Tools Inc. and I found the business, the registration of the business, and
Oh wow.
and it's registered in Westchester, PA, and
That's
it
very
was,
near where we grew up, Noah.
yes, very close to us. And the permit date for when it was registered is April 1st of this year, so one month ago.
Someone else said the domain was created the same day Apple announced the program.
What day did they announce the program? On November 17th.
Yes, they did.
That is when the domain was registered.
Dude, this is so bizarre. And so like you have to understand that we went into this video, I mean, not even really realizing how weird this was. Also, the fact that if you sign in, you register with an account on selfservicerepair.com. You do not sign in with your Apple ID, which is in itself a very strange. Like, this is almost not even affiliated with Apple, is the way that this comes across.
Yeah, this seems to me, and it's funny that you bring that up, because it is it is weird that they don't have sign in with Apple, right? Because any third party can add sign in with Apple. And in fact, the apps, if you have an app on the App Store that you can sign in with, like Google or any of those other providers, you have to include sign in with Apple. So it's a very widely used thing, follows the OAuth standard. It's like a very standard thing, but they don't even have it on this website, which I didn't think about, but really weird. This
Weird.
whole thing is weird, but I guess from this little investigation that we did live, it basically seems like Apple contracted this company. I guess the super chat said CDTI, which must be some other company, and maybe Spot is some like some. I mean, it was registered 1 month ago. That's when the company was registered. So it must be some like they made a separate company to deal with it.
Oh,
There's
2 in a row.
and that was which one fell first? Was it the bottom one?
The bottom one, I think.
I think it was the bottom one. All right, so we'll keep that
So
in
maybe your
mind.
theory was right about the top one. Well, the top one fell right after, so maybe the top one dislodged first, applied pressure to the bottom one.
Mm-hmm.
That one then let go, and then the top followed.
I think that's a reasonable
That's my theory.
idea. So we'll see what happens with the other 4. But yeah, so it seems like this company, the Spot company, was created for the purposes of this, and it's controlled by the third party CDTI or whoever it is, and Apple just contracted them and basically said, we'll give you the parts because only Apple has a lot of these parts. They basically said we'll give you the parts, and whatever, but basically you're on your own, to deal with building the site and managing everything and whatever. And now I'm thinking, did you see where the parts came from on like the shipping label when you got them?
Yes. They came from Illinois.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
What's
Speaking
in
of
there?
speaking of the parts, and indeed, and by the way, I think we should Google Maps the address, but I want to show you, Noah, what you actually get in the mail. Okay?
I do want to see
Because
that.
I think this is going to blow your mind. So vamp for like a second while I come back.
Okay, if we want to pull up, let's see, was there anything else interesting about the domain real quick? So we said it was registered with GoDaddy, which definitely tells me that this is some third party that they had to deal with this. It was registered on the same day that the thing was announced, November 17th, 2021, and see, it says it was last updated on January 26th of this year. I'm not sure what exactly they updated. The name servers are pointing to AWS. So this website, which is again more evidence that this is a third party. This website is being hosted on Amazon Web Services, whereas Apple probably hosts their websites themselves. So more evidence of that. And that's basically all we can see because the contacts are one of those privacy companies. So that's what I was able to find about the domain name. Some very interesting things there.
Look at the size of this.
That's way bigger than I knew it was big, but that's like way bigger. What the heck? That's way bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like I knew it was big. What the heck? Oh my God.
Oh God. Oh. Dude. This is one of 2, by the way.
Yeah, that's insane.
Good Lord. All right, so this one weighs 40 pounds according to the shipping label, which is insane, dude. Look at the size of this Pelican case.
Yeah.
And there's 2 of them.
Yeah, and this is well, let me just get this straight. You're replacing the screen on an iPhone 12. Is that right?
That is correct.
And this is okay. I just wanted to make sure that this was all for that.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
It
okay,
is.
good.
This both cases, by the way, and they will ship you the same kit whether you're doing the display, the battery, or the camera. So this is the same for all of that.
Okay.
Because doing the camera and the battery is just doing the display then with additional steps, right? It's functionally the same thing. Now, I mean, we can break this down a little bit here because, and you guys are going to see a full breakdown. I went through everything that you get, what it does, how it all works. And essentially, like, I will give you the spoiler, Noah. This is the exact tools that the Genius Bar uses.
That's pretty
Like,
cool.
well, you say that, but wait till you see the video, dude, because when I
Oh
tell
boy.
you that they just took the exact Genius Bar tools and instructions and mailed them to you, that is what they did. And they changed nothing, which
Hmm.
means they refer to things that you will not have.
Oh.
Yeah. Like
Yikes.
so the other box is a display press. So it's 35 pounds and it serves one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to loosen the adhesive and raise the display 5 millimeters. That's it. It's a 35-pound machine, and that's what it does.
Nice.
Yeah, so that's quite something. And essentially, what what you're looking so that Pelican case is just for that. This Pelican case is for two tools that are frankly some of the most pointless tools I've ever seen. It's like, dude, it's wildly unnecessary. And as someone pointed out, it weighs more than two 27-inch iMacs. That is correct. For one
Jeez.
screen on one iPhone. And so I'd like to point something out to you guys. And that is if we go back over here and we look at selfservicerepair.com, they have made this in such a way that it's pointless. So let's say, Noah, you have an iPhone 13 Pro.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while I'm doing this, would you like to go and look up how much the out of warranty display replacement cost is for the
Yes.
iPhone 13 Pro? I think you'll find that it's $279.
Yes, that is correct.
Okay, so on the Apple Parts store, you can buy that display for $10 less, but then you get a $33.60 credit, which is a very specific number, meaning the
Yeah.
price after the credit that you receive is $236.36. Now, if we subtract that from $79.99 minus 236.36, that means you save $43.63 compared to going to the Genius Bar. But you then have to rent the toolkit for $49, which means that if you use selfservicerepair.com, it will cost you $7 more than going to the Genius Bar.
Doesn't that the $236 thing, doesn't that include the toolkit rental?
It does not.
It doesn't?
No, it's a bundle, right? You're
Right.
thinking, wow, that's cool. The bundle includes 2 display adhesive and 2 security screws. That's what the bundle is of.
Oh,
So
so there's
if you
no
just
rental.
order that, yeah, if you just order that, you get this, by the way, does not come in the Pelican crates. It comes in a little brown cardboard box, and that
Okay.
has the display, the adhesive, the display screws, and 2 security screws. That's it.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
so
So
if you're
following
repairing one,
Apple's
I was gonna say if you're repairing one device, then it's more than the bundle plus the rental is more expensive than the Genius Bar.
yeah, and I say this in the video. If you think about it, when you go to the Apple Store and pay $279, you are paying just like when you go to get your car serviced, you're paying for the parts used and the labor cost.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do it yourself, you're paying more than that, which means you're paying the parts and the labor, but then you're doing the labor. So you're paying Apple for you to do the labor. which is an absolutely absurd thing to realize. Like, what?
Yeah, that's and the big thing for me, so parts and labor are two of the things, but the real third thing is that if you take it to the Genius Bar and they, mess up for some reason, and obviously they're going to be more knowledgeable and they're going to have more experience doing this than you will. But if for some reason they were to mess up your phone, then they're gonna make it right. But if you're the
Yep.
one doing it yourself and you mess it up, then that's on you. And now you have a broken phone and the screen that you paid for, whatever happened, and that's on you.
Yeah. I mean, it's like they've sort of priced it in a way to, I think, scare people off. And so there is an argument that you could make. Pear Electronics says, why don't they let you just use your existing Protect toolkit? There's nothing that prevents you from doing that. You can very easily just not rent the toolkit. Like, you could save this $50 and do it with iFixit, which you should do. Because not only are these tools dramatically unnecessary, but the instructions are more complicated and make this procedure seem quite frightening, even to someone like me who's done a lot of repairs. Now, I will say there is one there's one benefit to doing this versus buying a display from someone like iFixit, which does sell legit OLED displays. So you could easily make the case for, like, okay, well, don't use Apple's instructions, don't use their kits, just treat this as a way to get OEM parts from Apple themselves. And that, I suppose, is somewhat valid because theoretically, right, yeah, you could save $44 over going to the Genius Bar if you use your own parts and tools. Now, the one benefit that you get from buying this iPhone 13 Pro display bundle instead of going to iFixit and buying the parts for your iPhone, let's do a 12 Pro, which is like about the same. If you buy the display from, oh wow, that's still cheaper. The part only is, okay, no, it's like, wait, is it really about $3 difference in price? It's like almost exactly the same price to buy from iFixit versus buying from Apple. That's pretty funny. But when you buy from iFixit, you are getting just the display because the Face ID assembly is tied to your phone for security reasons. So part of the iFixit process for repairing your phone screen is going to be removing the Face ID assembly, preserving it, and transferring it to the new screen. With Apple's tools, because you're buying from Apple and you put in your serial number or your IMEI, you don't have to do that. So you just take the screen off, send it back, put the new part on. So you could argue that if you buy the part from Apple and then use iFixit's guides, that would probably be the best overall combination, but it's still just extremely weird. Extremely weird.
Yeah, the impression that I'm getting from the little bit of investigation that we did, and then the discussion we just had, and you mentioning the tools, which you talked a little bit about, and then especially the fact that they're the exact tools and instructions that the geniuses use, and they were unchanged and they just got shipped out. Basically, it seems to me like Apple did the absolute bare minimum that they possibly could because there was growing frustrations, and there was potential legislation, which is really the big thing, I'm sure, that led them to actually do this. Legislation more so than what consumers were saying. But they basically, they did the absolute bare minimum. They just, they said, okay, let's take these exact tools. And when you have these big, heavy, fancy tools in the Apple store in the back, it makes perfect sense. but to
Mhm.
stick them in a Pelican crate and ship them off to random people for $50
Yeah.
is like, it's insane. But like they did the absolute bare minimum, reusing what they had, contracting some third party, which there's nothing wrong with that, but they contracted some third party to build a completely separate website to deal with it. And I'm sure that this contractor is dealing with all of the logistics of the shipping and warehousing and all of that stuff. And then the prices, the prices of doing it yourself through this website versus just having Apple do it, the prices don't really make too much sense. It basically just seems like they did the absolute bare minimum to say, hey, this thing
Mhm.
exists, there is an option, but they made the option as like unattractive as possible, and that was
Yeah.
100% on purpose. 100%.
100%. Now, Noah, I did happen to notice on the return shipping label here
Hmm.
an address.
Okay.
This address specifically, 400 River Ridge Parkway, Jeffersonville, Indiana. So if we scroll out here, we are, oh, it's right near Louisville, Kentucky. So
Okay.
that is where these parts and tools are going. Now I'm gonna zoom in here, Noah, and I'm gonna drop us down into Street View and turn the camera slightly and zoom in, and you might notice what it says on this building.
It's a bit hard for me to read, but it looks like 4 letters. What does it say?
CTDI.
Yep, that's what that super chat mentioned. So there you go.
Yes, indeed. And can I just say how weird and totally random this looks? Like, dude, okay, look. There is one car. There is one 2004 Chevy Blazer in this
Uh-huh.
entire parking lot. Okay, there's a truck trailer over there. But dude, does this not look completely like abandoned? The windows are blacked out. Like
That is
what?
really. Does it say when? What does it say? July 2021 is when it. Yeah,
Yeah.
July 2021 is when it was taken. Huh.
Is
Weird.
this not the strangest looking thing? Oh,
Nope.
look,
Now
on
there's more
this day,
cars.
now there's more cars. So let's see here. We got a Volkswagen Jetta. There's a Toyota 4Runner now.
Is that a Chevy
Wow.
Impala or not Impala? Chevy, that black one. No, that's a Ford. That one.
Oh, this one right here?
Yeah.
I believe that's a Hyundai Elantra.
Oh, I tried.
You were good though, Oh, there's a Model 3 there. Okay.
Yeah, I can tell
That's
that
the
one.
boss.
Yeah.
There's a Toyota Highlander. Okay.
Nice.
So there's at least 7 people that work here.
In this giant factory, this giant
There's a
building.
there's a crane being dropped off there. There's a scissor lift.
Those are
Couple
the
of
parts.
work
If
trucks.
you order the kit to fix a Mac, those are the parts that they send you.
That must be it. I mean, this just looks like a logistics company.
Yeah.
Like this is just an enormous warehouse. And it does say CTDI on the other end of the building as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, that building is huge. We're still
It's
going.
gigantic. And look, it does still say CTDI,
Yep.
which is a very CDTI would be much easier to say than CTDI.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to see if I can go around the corner at all, or can I go up here? No, that's going to just be their other entrance, which looks exactly the same as the other side. But yeah, that's a very strange. This is like a very strange place.
Yeah.
There's like nothing here. There's another very similar looking building all the way down this road. Oh, and it looks like they have new neighbors going in.
Yep.
What is this building? We're just driving down the street. Hang on a
We're going
second.
on an adventure today.
Okay, so this is just something totally different. I see.
More cars.
How
there.
strange is this?
Yeah, this is very well. Now I'm curious. So what was it CTDI, right?
Yeah.
They must be. Oh, I just heard a wall panel make a noise.
Oh.
This one's crooked. The one right here.
Oh. It's
It
hanging
hasn't
by a
fallen.
thread.
It hasn't
Now,
fallen yet.
here's something weird, Noah. This image, I went to the satellite version and it looks like the place hasn't been built yet.
Oh yeah.
But you know what's weird? Is on the bottom of my screen here, it says imagery copyright 2022.
That must not be when it was taken. But yeah, that looks like they're building it.
Is there a way that I can see when this satellite image is from? Because this CTDI does not exist in this image.
Well, you know what? I found their website, and I know this is the right website because the logo matches. It says it was founded
Ooh.
in. Okay, here's the thing. So it says it was founded in 1975, and it says their corporate headquarters is in Westchester, PA, which makes sense. We saw that Spot was, incorporated in Westchester, PA.
Interesting.
So this is not their corporate headquarters. This is just some, warehouse or some branch or. And yes,
Which,
I
by
see
the way,
the address matches here, but it's different place.
they're across the street from a graveyard.
Oh man.
Oh no. That's something. Wow. Wait, so what's their website? Let me go there.
It's ctdi.com. And someone
Simple
asked
enough.
what it stands for. It's
That looks a
communications.
lot. Dude,
I just
this
wanted
website looks a lot like the self-service repair website.
Actually, wait a second. Since you said that, hang on one second. Let me just look. No, you know what? This is. No, hang on. I gotta check one thing really quick. Oops. Let me try that again. Yep. Okay, it's really funny that you said that because this website was built in a completely different way than the other website. The self-service
Even
repair
though it has like
website.
the same format and colors.
Well, they must have copied the idea, but the self-service repair, for anyone who's curious, the self-service repair website was Angular and Bootstrap, and this website that we're looking at now is WordPress.
This is a WordPress site?
Yeah, if you go to whatever it is, ctdi.com/wp-admin, that's how you can any WordPress website, you go to /wp-admin and you get the WordPress admin site. Obviously you can't log in, but I don't know. I just looked at the HTML and I saw WP and I was like, oh, it's WordPress.
So clicking around on their website, I went to their product supply division, which I suspect is maybe what Apple is using here.
Mm-hmm.
And they say that CTDI product supply division identifies, sources, engineers, and manufactures products needed to support telecom and cable customers. Telecom and cable customers.
I mean,
that is, dude.
It's not really Apple, but it's not too much of a stretch, I guess.
I mean, this is like such a rabbit hole, dude.
Yeah, this is genuinely, I wasn't expecting all this. And you know what else? If you click on global locations at the top and then you look at North America, they have a ton of locations in like all over the world, but even in North America alone, there's like a ton of locations. It's kind of crazy. It's just some logistics
so
company.
Fascinated by this.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
But yeah, so we Sam and I tried this all out, and you can actually see all the tools that you get on the website, so I can walk you through them. So basically, the kits are going to be the same, but for simplicity to see all of them, I'm going to do battery, because obviously to get the battery, you have to take the screen off. So the tools, the iPhone 12 Pro toolkit comes with everything else here. All of this stuff is in the box. And some of it's super simple, like you get this back cover or the display cover. Basically, the idea with the display cover is if you have a super shattered display, you put that on it to hold it together, because it's otherwise you end up just like pulling chunks out of it, right? So that essentially glues it all together, and then you pull the whole thing out. Same thing with this back protective cover. You can stop it from getting scratched, or you can stop it from shattering more if it's already broken. Then we have the adhesive cutter. This thing is terrible, by the way. Really bad. I ended up using the iFixit little pry tool because this thing was so garbage. You get a black stick, which is just, I just have no words. They call it in the repair manuals the black stick. Yeah.
It's so weird.
And then we get to the screw kits, and these prices are just laughable. Look, a Torx security bit. This is just a T1 or a T2 Torx driver, and they charge you $13 just for the screw bit. And then they charge you $80 for the driver. But they also charge you $85 for the same driver in gray that has a slightly different like dimension. Dude, what am I looking at? Why is that $85? It doesn't even come with any screw bits.
This is so. By the way, I didn't even realize that you could buy like these, like the display press, the battery press, whatever. I didn't realize you could buy those to keep. I thought you could only buy, like, rent the kit. That's actually pretty interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it adds up. So that we have this display adhesive press plate. Literally what that does is you put the adhesive on and then you use the display press. And what the press does is it just pushes down and then it counts down for 30 seconds and then you take it off again. That's all it does for $216. Yeah. And of course you can only use that when it's put in the $50 repair tray, which is exactly what it looks like. It's a little piece of aluminum that you put your iPhone in, and then it has little suction cups on it. So that's $50.
Nice.
This is the display pocket that melts the adhesive that you insert. So that's $108, and you insert that into the $256 display removal fixture. And then the battery press, this one you'll love, Noah.
Uh-huh.
It looks weird, right? You're like, oh, this looks like a contraption. Do you know what this
Yeah.
does, Noah?
What does it do?
You take that same $50 tray, you put the iPhone in it, you put the iPhone down, you lower this, and this little rubber thing is just like a rolling pin, and it rolls across the battery to push the battery down.
Nice.
That's it. That's what this does.
Nice.
It's
That's great.
unbelievable. I feel like I'm giving away so much here. Like this video, dude, I was really not expecting the video that we ended up doing. I don't know what I didn't expect, because I mean, we're looking at it here, but just like seeing it all happen and seeing the tools in person is so bizarre. I implore you guys to watch my video, and especially Sam's video, because it is so wild, the process that Apple thinks you should go through to fix your screen. If anything, you can get an idea for what it's like to be a Genius Bar employee.
I'm so curious to see these videos when they come out tomorrow. This whole thing, literally every single thing from the day that this was announced to even like literally the announcement itself was so weird, but like everything from the day this was announced to now, just every single thing about this is so weird. That's all. That's the only word I can think of.
I just have there's no words that even describe how strange this whole situation is. And I do agree that it's kind of cool that you can buy the parts, but you have to repair a lot of stuff because it's about $1,200 if you buy everything that Apple thinks you should have. And that also doesn't include stuff like tweezers or gloves or an ESD strap or an ESD mat, which they also recommended having. Um, it's very expensive. So if you want it to be like a repair shop, it's kind of cool that you can buy the same tools the Genius Bar uses, but I don't think you really need to because I think it's wildly over engineered, to be very honest. Um,
Well, the
my
other thing
goodness.
is, like, if you're talking about repair shops at that point, if they're at like Apple authorized service providers, they probably had access to these tools or some sort of tools from Apple,
Yes,
for a
authorized
while.
repair providers have these tools.
So it's weird. It's like, I guess if you want to repair Apple devices, but you don't want to be an authorized service provider, or maybe you can't for some reason, then I guess it makes sense. But like, if you're a repair shop, you're going to want to be Apple authorized, right? Because that looks better
Mm.
for the consumers, and you probably get access to even more, tools and software and whatever from Apple. It's just, I don't see why anyone would want to buy them from this website. I don't
And
know.
there's another great question here. What happens if you lose a repair kit you rent? So I actually know the answer to this
I do as
because
well.
when you rent that tool kit for $50, you have 7 days to, I guess you could theoretically do as many repairs as you want. You have 7 days to do whatever you want with those tools. If you lose something or you don't send it back, at the time that you push, at the time that you place the order, it puts a hold of $1,150 on your credit card. And that is then refunded after you return them.
Yeah, I did. I did hear. So if you don't return it at all, they charge the full amount. I think if you
Yeah.
return it missing a piece, then they charge you for the piece that was missing. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's I mean, they got to do what they got to do, but that's I don't know. $1,200 hold on your credit card. It's
It's
interesting.
right. It's they really are making this seem like such a huge deal. And
Yeah.
there's so many like little red warning labels that are like, you could die. Okay, they don't actually say that, but they're like, be careful. There could be an enormous explosion if you do this wrong. And it really, it almost seems like it was designed. I mean, I guess it's not designed for the public because it was designed for the Genius techs, but it's like it's scary, dude. Taking off an iPhone screen isn't really that deep, but when you do it with their tools, it's like really frightening. And it took us 5 hours.
And you know what else is frightening?
What is frightening, Noah?
That we've gone 5 minutes overtime on this episode.
Oh, great heavens!
Yeah.
Well, I think I know what we could do about this.
What's that?
We can end immediately. I've been your host, Luke Miani,
And I've been your host, Noah Rubin. Have a great night.
and shout out to the 2.5 wall panels that fell.
2.5, yeah. No one guessed
Love it.
that.
No one did. Farewell.